Welcome to TopStep Traders Funded Interview. I'm Eddie Horn, and today we've got Chris with us, one of our traders, and we're going to talk about his journey through the ranks of TopStep, Trading Combine, and the funded account. But before we get there, I just want to remind you to sharpen your pencils, make sure there's ink in your pen, choose your favorite color crayon, because taking notes might shed some light at the end of your tunnel. So let's get started here. Chris, how are you today?
I'm great, man. It's a rainy day in Atlanta, but it's a trading day, so it's always exciting. It's a good day.
It's a good day to trade. No reason to go outside, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect reason to stay inside. Yeah.
Tell us about yourself a little bit.
I'm 39 years old. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here most of my life. I've been trading for about a year and a half, so still pretty young in terms of trading, still learning, but I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful son. We have one more on the way, so got a couple boys and just a lovely family. So
Fantastic.
Excited to be here with you and share my experience with everybody.
And you know what? Thank you very much for coming on and sharing that experience. There's a lot of traders out there, that look forward to these interviews. How did he do it? How did she do it? And that's what this is all about. Now, talking about what or who got you interested in trading?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. I've always been vaguely aware of, stock markets, things of that nature. I had an uncle that he would, he would trade stocks, but he was more of a long-term, just buy and hold. So about a year and a half ago, a friend of mine, he had been talking about stocks and markets and things of that nature. And I kind of got interested. Of course, when the pandemic hit, everybody found some interest somewhere, some hobbies and things of that nature. So stuck inside, checked it out, went down the YouTube rabbit hole and was kind of looking around at stock markets and trading, and that kind of led me into day trading. But I quickly learned that the pattern day trading rule would restrict me from doing that. So having $25,000 to be able to make more than a few trades per week was really restrictive. As I kind of went down that YouTube rabbit hole further, at some point I stumbled across futures, which I had never heard of at all. So I kind of stumbled across futures and realized that there was no pattern day trading rule. I said, wow, this is an opportunity perhaps. So I started learning and got involved with a community. Shout out to Trades by Matt community. He's been awesome. But that's kind of where my journey really began for getting into futures and trading.
And you took the ball and you ran with it.
Took the ball and ran with it. It's been a year and a half. It was December of 2020. And from that point forward, I dove in head first. I didn't test the waters. I just went straight in, learned everything I could, still learning everything I can to this day.
You talked about the YouTube rabbit hole. Now there's a lot out there that, sometimes can get a little confusing on, who do I listen to? Who do I follow? Who do I believe? Did you test any of these for your trading that seemed that they worked?
Yeah, I'm sure this is not a unique experience, going down the YouTube rabbit hole and finding all the shiny objects and different strategies that people have. And I've tested a lot of them. I've tried a lot of them, and I've kind of really worked my way towards what works for me. So I've tried several strategies. Some of them didn't sit well with me. Some of them really didn't speak to me. And then I kind of found little things here and there that did work for me, and I would put those in my back pocket. And then I would come back to them later on and started combining them with other little things that would work for me, and kind of came up with my own strategy. But it's on the back of people who have found things that did work. So just nitpicking to find what works for me, really.
Right. I call that the Dr. Frankenstein strategy.
Oh, perfect.
You get a little piece here and a piece there, and put it together and see if it comes alive. So
that's exactly it.
Now, what are you trading right now, and why?
So I trade exclusively the NASDAQ. It's something I've been watching since very early on when I found out about futures, and I do keep an eye on the S&P, but that's more just for seeing what it's doing and if they're in correlation and things like that. But I only trade the NASDAQ. I figure if I can learn the movements and really get used to the NASDAQ, to that one instrument, then I can have a little bit better success. I'm not great at multitasking. I'll kind of admit that. So I stick to one thing.
Now, I did a little research, and before the interview, Chris had agreed to do a funded trader interview. One of the things that happened was Chris lost the funded trader account. Okay, now that happens a lot. I mean, traders, I mean, I've been in the business for a very long time and lost many accounts. And what happens is when you get to that point, the apex, you really want to do the best you can. Sometimes the market really isn't your best friend and you lose the account, but you learn from this. This is where you really learn and ways of making yourself successful and being positive. Now, Chris, tell us a little bit. What was the greatest takeaway of losing that funded account?
So my greatest takeaway from losing the funded account is just reinforcing what TopStep has been teaching me this entire time. That's risk management. You know, it's a number of things really, but risk management is the biggest thing. Leverage, over leveraging, especially depending on the volatility of the market. It being in that situation where I'm funded, that amps up the pressure a little bit more. So you go from the combine to maybe the pro account and then to a funded account. And then each step of the way, you add pressure. And that's a good thing inherently. That teaches you how to deal with the market in those scenarios. So for me, it's all about remaining patient and not getting ahead of myself, waiting for the market to come to me, getting those good entries. And that's what I failed to do. I failed to wait for the market to move to where I was confident that I could get a reaction out of it and then get in at that point. I got too eager, wasn't patient. That's what burned me.
Right. Patience is a virtue. And I always used to say, yeah, right. But you know, once you get into this business, it's patience is golden. You've really got to practice and use patience. It's really hard, honestly. It's easy to say, but it's really hard to do.
It really is. It's one of the most difficult things that I've had to deal with in trading. And it's one of those things where I see the charts and I know I have a good idea where things will happen, and I just don't wait for it all the time. So I need to be better about that.
Right. It's like baking cookies and eating them right out of the oven. That doesn't work, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to patience, let them cool off. Now, let me ask you, Chris, how long have you been with TopStep?
I have been with TopStep. I don't know specifically, but it's been about a year, I would say. Maybe a little bit more, but not much longer than a year.
Okay. How many combines have you did?
I've done several combines. Like you mentioned before, you know, I've been funded a couple of times. And I'm finding that as I progress in my journey and learn more and more, it's slowing down, I guess is the phrase. You know, it doesn't move as quickly, and I kind of can weather the storm a bit better.
All right, let me ask you this question. How many resets have you had?
Quite a few. Yeah, I know that's I feel like that's something that some people might be ashamed of, but I would say don't be ashamed of resets. I take it as tuition for my education, learning how to trade. And I don't say that to just mean throw them out there, you know, dump a bunch of contracts and then see what happens. But, you know, trade how you trade. And if you have to reset, don't worry about it. It's better to lose $99 on a reset than it is to lose, you know, an entire account, several $1,000s.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It does help get you back on the horse, you know, figuratively speaking. But it's something that is going to get you through it. Now, we talked about strategy a little bit, talked about your approach a little bit. How about indicators? There's so many indicators out there that, you know, we have access to. What indicators are you using, and can you tell us why?
Yeah, absolutely. I use very few. I try to depend more on price action. I do have VWAP, which I find to be, something where price reacts quite a bit at that level. And beyond that, I have the volume profile up and Bollinger Bands. That's about it. So very, very few things that I use definitively. I try to get a confluence of multiple things going on, but overall price action is what I look at. I wait for the bars to give me indication of what I think is going to happen.
What sort of funneled you into price action? Where did you see price action as being something that, hey, this works for me?
So price action, when I really started to kind of see how it worked, where it kind of, the clouds parted for me, was when I looked at higher time frames. When I looked, I start to look at the daily and say, all right, well, let me get an overview of what's going on in the daily real quick, and then move down to say a 4-hour. A 4-hour, I could see some big reactions at certain levels, some supply and demand levels. So that's where I started really honing in when the market was moving down to a level of, say, supply or demand. And then I would move down to the hourly or the 15-minute chart, and then get my entries on like a 5-minute chart.
Okay, all right. So it's sort of like the Google Earth coming into the big picture. And that's what I do myself. You look at the big picture, let the chart tell you the story. And as you get a little closer, you're going to see a little bit more information. Now, Chris, how about your strengths? How about your weaknesses? Now, we all have them, but trading wise, what's your strengths?
I would say strength is I'm persistent. I'm not going to be shaken too easily. So if I do fail, I take that as a learning experience. I come back stronger. I try to take some information away from that and use it on my next venture. But basically, I would say just by my tenacity to learn, that's a huge strength for me. So I don't have any issues failing and tripping up as long as I'm not making the same mistakes over and over and over. I've made many mistakes, but I try to limit the repetitiveness of those mistakes.
All right. Once bitten, twice shy, right?
Yeah.
How about a weakness?
Weakness. I kind of touched on it earlier. Patience can be a weakness when, I feel like I'm going to miss a move, almost like FOMO. But with the NASDAQ specifically, it moves quite a bit. So you got to be patient. You got to wait for those levels to hit, and then to see a reaction out of that level, and then just get some confidence in your entries.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Words of wisdom, my friend. New trader comes up to you, somebody that wants to learn how to trade, has been looking at it. What are you going to tell this person? What words of wisdom would you share with this new person?
I would say learn as much as you possibly can. Soak up as much as you possibly can. YouTube has been a great resource, I'm sure, for many people. And take that with a grain of salt. Don't go on YouTube and take everything as gospel, but find what works for you. Trade with a paper account, see what works, back test things, go and look, last week, the week before, months, years ago, see how the chart reacts at certain levels. And then when you're ready, do something like TopStep, where you can put a little bit of skin in the game, but not, have a ton of money out there that you're risking without dipping your feet in, really.
Okay. What qualities do you think make a good trader? Now, I know there's an experience yourself, and it seems like you've got a very good grasp on correcting something that isn't working. But what qualities do make a good trader?
I would say being patient. Again, I feel like we're touching on that quite a bit. Patience, like you said, is a virtue. Yeah, it's a big deal. Being willing to take a beating. When you get early on in trading and learning, you have to be able to take those punches, get back up, dust yourself off, get back to it. So persistence is a big one. And just being open to failure and learning from those failures. It's, it it doesn't sound great as I'm describing it, but if you persist and keep going, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And like, I haven't even gotten to that point yet, but I believe it myself. So just stick to it. If you're really willing to be good at trading, it may take years to get to that point, but keep with it.
It's like if we don't fail, we don't get better. And
Right.
it is a stepping stone, whether we like it or not. Whether we
Yep.
like it or not, there will be failure, there will be success. So it's a matter of balancing the two. Now, Chris, if I can ask you, has TopStep made you a better trader?
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. Without TopStep, um, I would never have even have entertained the idea beyond just doing a little bit of YouTube research, checking out, day trading and things of that nature. If it wasn't for what TopStep offers, I just never would have pursued it, because the TopStep essentially lowers that barrier to entry to allow you to be able to get in there, have a little bit of skin in the game, to learn, to hone your craft. Without that, I just feel like you would burn through a lot more money for sure.
Fantastic. What do you like most about TopStep?
I like that TopStep teaches you risk management. That's the biggest thing, risk management. I like that they have rules in place that you need to follow to be able to get to your destination. That structured organization is big for me, and I think it would serve everyone well to continue to follow those types of learnings beyond TopStep.
Now, Chris, once again, I just want to say thank you very much for being with us and sharing with us your journey, even though losing the account. But trust me on this one, you're going to come back even stronger. You're going to come back a better trader. This is something, we talked before we started the interview, and there's a lot of passion and desire that Chris has, and he wants to get this back. And you're in step two, and you had a trade today, and a good trade day today, and you're moving forward, and that's all we can do. You don't want to move sideways or back. You want to keep moving forward, even if it's baby steps, even if it's the littlest of profit. You want to keep moving forward. And thank you for coming on for that. But a couple more questions here, Chris, before we let you go. Tell us a little bit about your hobbies, collection, sports. You play music. Tell us what you do outside of trading.
Yeah, so big Braves fan.
Braves.
Yeah, big Braves fan. We got the ring back. It's been a while, so the city was hungry for it, and it was a crazy year the way we went about it, but it was exciting nonetheless. So I'm a huge Atlanta sports fan. Braves, Falcons, Hawks, Atlanta United. Atlanta, is tough to be an Atlanta fan sometimes, but it's kind of like being in the markets. It can be stressful. Outside of that, I enjoy photography. I was a wedding photographer for quite a while, and it's just fun to me. That it's a creative outlet, something to do to kind of scratch the itch on the other side of the brain. But other than that, man, I just love spending time with my son. He's 3 years old. He's the light of my life. I love him so much. So I'm his biggest fan. So hopefully one day he'll be out here trading as well.
God bless. I hope so. Tell him to contact me. I'll get him set up. I'll get him set up.
Absolutely.
Like a junior trader. Speaking of junior traders, on the trading floor, once a year, you could bring your son or daughter to work, right? They would give these kids coats, trading coats, and they would trade pizza futures. And at the end of the session, they would have pizza and soda and cupcakes for the kids. And the kids loved it. And we loved it too. It was really neat seeing all these little kids having fun on the trading floor.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I want to trade for pizza.
You know what? Yeah, save me a spot, would you? All right. Now for the fun question. All right. I got some sad news, Chris. Sad news is your great, great, great uncle Jebediah has sadly passed on to another dimension. But the good news is he left you $1 million. Now, Chris, How are you going to spend that $1 million?
Oh man, the immediate answer that comes to mind is to invest most of it. I don't know. I feel like buying some storage units and storage spaces and kind of trying to create passive income, so to speak, and then roll that profit into more and more and more. But yeah, I would probably do something, I guess, a little smarter with it. Younger me probably would have said, well, I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini and then I'll see you in Vegas. But definitely not doing that anymore. So
No, no.
yeah, definitely I'll be a little smarter with it. Hopefully invest it wisely.
Good. All right. I like that. I like that. I'd probably get some car washes.
There you go.
I was at the car wash the other day and it was like $13, $14 for just a drive-through.
Yeah.
And my God, it's it's gold. It's a gold mine. But cool. All right. Actually, Uncle Jebediah really didn't pass, so everything's okay. He's doing fine in the Bahamas, so he's okay. But Chris, once again, thank you very much for being with us here. We wish you all the best, and props to you for stepping up to the plate, Braves fan, coming on here and doing an interview after losing a funded account. And props to you for that. We really appreciate it. Any last words, my friend?
I just want to say thank you, Eddie, for having me here. Thank you, TopStep. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate what you offer to the community, and just keep at it. That's my words of wisdom. Keep at it. If you feel like it's too much and you can't quite grasp it, I promise you will see strides if you stick with it. I've seen enormous strides just in the year and a half that I've been doing it, and while I have a lot to learn, I see light at the end of the tunnel, and I will be there. I have full confidence. So thank you for having me. Appreciate everybody watching this.
Cool. Until we meet again, I'm Eddie Horn. Stay focused, stay positive, trade well, and take care.